for my entire life. And more I keep living my life, I keep going through my path. The music shows me different reasons that it came to my life. And one of the beautiful reasons is I think the music is the one that made me accept myself and gave me chance to be who I am supposed to be. And when I remember me going to the US from Brazil, afraid, going through different like hard times, like even before I moved to the US and Brazil, I remember me trying to leave this place that I wasn't happy. Music gave me the chance to leave from that place. Then I get to the US. Music was, I didn't have the language to speak. I couldn't speak English. I remember me playing one time at the subway. This person wants to connect with me. I couldn't talk to this person. And she said, "You don't have to speak English. We speak music." I would just play at Central Park. People, every friend that I have in the US, almost from New York, came from Central Park when I didn't speak English. I didn't speak English at that time. And English gave me the chance to show who I was. People sometimes wouldn't look at me when I was myself because they couldn't see me, but they would accept me after they saw my music. And it just keeps like that. I remember me going through discovering my new family every place I go, and it's always they accept me. It's not because the music helps me them accept who I am, and gives me time sometimes to even fix myself to be in places. And even when I'm broken, my music it's fixed before, and people have gives me chance to actually give me time to fix myself and accept me. But my music was there already, making them give me this time. And so I was in New York. I remember me going through this church, which church was a place that always gave me a lot of problems, as I told you guys. And because of music, I went and met this new family. Then I go to Los Angeles. Then I met Caro through music. That at the beginning I was like, oh, what's going on? Eventually, I see a new family here and many other new people from that I consider family. And now I see Caro here with that church and Carl in south of Brazil. I am here in California. Brenda's in Boston. Uh, it's the churches in Brooklyn. Sandra's in New Jersey, and so I don't know what to say. Just music gave me the chance to just be who I am, and I see this new family all being managed by the power of it. So that's what I would like to share.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Thank
really
you,
Thank you for
Wes.
sharing. Mm,
sweetness.
pure, pure sweetness.
I think let's take a more official moment to introduce Caro.
Mm.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How do you relate to music? What do you identify as a musician, I guess, as an artist? What's your energy like?
All right. Well, firstly, Wesley, thank you for including me in this circle. Brenda, everything you're saying from the get-go, I'm in.
Cool.
This is where I stem from too. So there's no wonder I'm here. There's no wonder music, Divine Mother has put us all together here today. And so my relationship with music, just music has always been there. I remember that's how I even learned how to speak English. It was through learning the American songs, that I used to hear on the radio growing up. In Brazil, we were very much Americanized musically growing up. And then eventually when you grow up, you learn that the music from your country is magical. Then you have to learn it all. But growing up, I was very Americanized. And so that's how I learned English, by just learning the lyrics. And it had always been there, but it was never a dream of mine to become a musician, to become a singer. It was never something that it was on the books for me. I grew up in a very industrial family. All my dad, my uncles, everybody had like manufacturing companies. So I knew that when I would grow up, I would look after my father's company. I mean, I never like bothered to see what I wanted to do when I grew up. It was never something that it was like, it was not an option. So it was okay. And then I dove into that realm until I was like 24, and I started to like see that I was not happy what I was. Didn't know what I needed, didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew that that place where I was not for me. And then from my 20, when I was 24 to my 28th, were like very tumultuous 4 years, because I kind of was going through this transformation. I needed to make a move, but I had no idea where to make a move to or towards what. And I remember I used to manage my father's company, the production, and I needed to hire a production assistant. And one of the girls that I was interviewing, she was from the Mormon church. And she told me that she sang in the choir. And one of the other things she shared with me was that her dream was to go to college. And in Brazil, college is very expensive. Unless you're really, really smart, then you can go to like state funded schools, but you have to be really, really smart, which wasn't her case. I mean, she could if she studied, but she didn't want to. And then I was going to college at the time, and I remember walking in the corridor one day, and then I saw a sign, and I said, join the choir and get 4 credits per month. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna tell Lichi, that was her name, she can take a class. You know, you take one class at a time, and eventually you're done. So I told her, and then she says, yeah, of course. And she signs up for the audition. And I was like, cool, good luck. And then I remember it was like a Sunday morning. I used to drive by the company just to see how everything was, because it was like a nonstop production line. So I drove by to see how things were going. And she was there because she was the production assistant. So she was checking things. And then she told me, you know, I'm going to the audition right now. I was like, wow, cool, good luck. She's like, actually, my husband just bailed on me. And I was wondering if you want to go with me, just because I'm a little nervous. And it was the college I was going to parallel to work. So I was like, sure, I'll go with you. So as I'm waiting for her to come out of the audition room, she comes out. The conductor was like, do you want to audition too, since you're here? And I was like, me? No, I'm just here with her. No, just come in, you're here. And then I did. Have no idea what I did. I think he just went up and down the scales just to see what voice I was. And then a week later, we get the call. And she didn't make it, but I did. And I remember at that
Wow.
time, I know, right? I remember at that time, I was just looking for something to hold on to, because I was going through something. I was married to somebody else, not at that time, and that wasn't going well. Work wasn't going well. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know who I was or who I wanted to be. So it's like, maybe I just hold on to this and see where it takes me. And it was a very committed group of people, 2 rehearsals a week. There was touring every month, and the conductor and his wife were like the ones in charge of the choir, and they were both were psychologists too. And to me, that was very important, because I was raised in a bubble, you know, where people were like me, you know, and I never was like, it was just always like people that look like me, that have the same financial conditions. So when I joined the choir, it was 26 people from all sorts of backgrounds, from all colors, fat, skinny, all religious backgrounds. And the 4 years I spent with them were actually where I became a human being, because I was able to just be me. It didn't matter who my father was. It didn't matter who my husband was. It just mattered that I did my note. It didn't matter how much money I had, or, you know, nothing mattered. It just mattered I was part of this whole thing, and I just needed to do my thing. I remember, I'll never forget this. one day, because I was a soprano, but I was more of a mezzo, and I was right where where alto would begin. It was in a transition, and then one day I missed my note, and then I told the conductor, sorry, 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 she distracted me. He stops rehearsal, he looks at me in the eye, he says, you distracted yourself with her, not her. She was singing her note, she sang it right. And I was like, and mind you, I was managing my dad's company. I was so entitled. I was like, you don't talk to me like this. Blah, blah, blah. Inside my head, I was going, And that was like one of 100 situations where they put me in my place, but in the best place, like really teaching me how to be a human being as part of a collective, not acting from a privileged place. And those years were very formative for me. That's where I learned music theory. And I have live friends. If like I just arrived here in Brazil yesterday, and I'm like texting people, well, when are we meeting? We're gonna sing together. And then 4 years later, and that kind of held me the next 4 years. And 4 years later, the funding ended for the choir. And then, of course, so did my life. My life ended too, because it pulled the rug out of my life. I was like, okay, now I don't have that holding me up anymore. So, I had like this whole thing. I asked for a divorce. I had to ask my dad for a way out. I felt like I was betraying him. It was really heavy for me to be able to tell him that I didn't want to be in that position. But I gathered the courage to tell him. And I remember I even wrote him a letter and read it to him, just because I didn't have the courage to just say it like flat out to him. And then when I finished reading the letter, it's like, daughter, you go do what you need to do. And don't worry, because when you turn 30, always going to be well. Because I was 28 by then. And, he was right. But he was like the complete opposite direct response that I thought he would have. It was so magical. And that's when I moved to Los Angeles, because I had been here for school 7 years before, and I knew some people here. So I was like, I just needed like a new stage for my life, and when nobody knew me, where I could just be whatever. And then I remember I moved out here and I got a job as a hostess at a restaurant in Beverly Hills, because I wanted a job. I had some savings, but I also didn't want to just drain my savings. I wanted a job where I didn't take anything home. I'd go in, work, and go home. Like, because the last 7 years have been really like, I was on the whole time. I was the production manager, so I was like on the whole time. Like, do they have material? Did anybody not show up? Did any machine broke? And so I wanted a job that I would just go in, work, and leave. So I went in, and in Los Angeles, I think in New York too, a lot of the hospitality jobs are for the artists, because they're kind of supporting their lives on the side. And I met a bunch of actors, bunch of musicians, still really good friends, and I got so inspired in that lifestyle. I had never been exposed to that lifestyle before here in my hometown. And then I realized I was missing singing. And then I realized when I was singing was the only time that I felt like myself, that like I didn't feel like nothing was missing. And then I went on Craigslist, because Craigslist had been the place where I had found my apartment, where I had found my car. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to Craigslist. This is 2008. And there was a guy looking to put a world music band together. And I reached out to him. We met up at a coffee shop. We sang a couple of songs. And then, mind you, by then I hadn't sang by myself ever. Like I used to only sing in the choir. And then the songs that this guy knew were like the classic Brazilian songs, like the bossa nova stuff. Mind you, I didn't know those songs, but apparently I did, because when he started playing, I started singing, and I was like, okay, I knew the melody, so I just got the lyrics, and they was like, yeah, let's do it. So we started playing together. Then we found a drummer. We started playing outside restaurants for free. And then all of a sudden he looks at me and he goes, okay, now you need to start writing your own songs. And I was like, what, me? I know, like, yeah, that's what a musician does. You write your own songs. And I was like, okay. And mind you, I was just going through a divorce back then. So I decided to draw from that well. and we ended up doing an album together under the name of the band Marbella, which was my first music project as a solo artist. And that was another school for me. That was my grad, I think, grad school. The choir was like my bachelor, and then working with Antonio, my dear friend, sweet brother of mine, still really good friends with him. And then he actually moved to Ithaca to go do his I don't know if it's doctorate or grad school. I'm not sure. He went to forget the name of the school. What's the school there? I forget, but it doesn't matter. And then I was without a guitar player. And then I realized that if I didn't go solo, I would be always open to my band just falling apart because nobody would believe in me as I would. And so I just went solo. I played with subs for a while, but it wasn't the band anymore because the band was just me and him. You know, that's how we started. And then we got a bassist and a drummer later. And then when I was by myself, I realized I didn't know how to play any of the songs from Marbella because we had co-written the songs together and he would always play the guitar. So for my next phase, I was like, okay, now I'm going to sing and play all the songs for this next album. And that's what I did. And was through that album that then eventually I was able to stop having a hospitality job and funding my projects. It was in 2018 that I was able to just dive into just being full-time a musician and being supported by that in all ways. And then in 2021, I started, oh, and mind you, I'm also a Kundalini yoga teacher. So I also taught on the side, and I used to always play meditation music at the end for Shavasana. So I wrote a couple of meditation songs for that. And then 2021, I was invited to provide music for an ayahuasca circle. And then that's when everything started to change and I started to open up and see music as pure medicine itself. And now I don't even know where I am, but I'm here and I'm serving, I'm open, I'm walking the path. I don't know, I'm here with you guys now, sharing this beautiful song that Wesley was so kind to open up his space, this space to bring in, you know, and I feel that it's a universal song. I also, you know, going back to that poem, I feel privileged. There's not a day that goes by that I don't feel privileged and thankful that music chose me because it does. It speaks to me. I don't do anything. I just listen, you know, and I am just a vehicle for it to speak, for the creative force to speak, and I've accepted the job. And this is what I'm here to do in this planet, in this lifetime. And it's what makes me feel alive. It's what gives me purpose. It's what gives me friends. It's what gives me connections. It's what brings me healing. It's what brings healing to whoever sings or listens to the song. And to me, it's a manifestation of spirit. And I think that's a short story for a lifetime of devotion. But it's been really.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for listening.
Matt, thank you for sharing your testimony, your journey. That's really cool, exciting. I guess
Thank you.
let's take a moment if anyone wants to ask any questions or share any of their own experiences about music, what they've heard.
Well, I would like for Wes just to talk a little bit more with Caro about how this song, our latest single, came to be, and it's being released. Just talk a little bit about the release date, Wes, more about that project.
Yeah, the beauty of the music once again. So I start playing at the ceremony, the ayahuasca ceremony with Caro, And somehow I remember when I was there playing, I told Caro, I said, they are saying the same thing that I always heard in church, but they are just doing in a different way. But we are pretty much doing the same thing. And then I start meeting people from other religions, and I see that that is a time that we are connected and we are saying the same language. And then that's, when I offered the Sandra said, like, I would like to produce music, right? When I saw Caro singing the songs, she has beautiful songs. Like, she writes, like, she has the talent to write, as she said, she just receives it, right? And then that project, I was just like, I think I want to bring that healing in a different language, because I think that healing that they use there, it's gonna be beneficial for the same one that are here right now at this moment. I think we are just pretty much doing the same thing. So yeah, the process was very like beautiful, because I we were very open. Like, I asked, like, do you have a song that you would like to do? I remember she started working on another song, and she got so close to her own song, and she, oh my god, I have one song, but I want to do another one. And now all this process, she was just like making beautiful stuff, and she shared that one with me and let us, talk together in the same song. So she sent me the song. I envisioned the how I would like to have the orchestration. I didn't want to change anything from whatever she did. Like, that was so beautiful. And it was back and forth, kind of, sent here. And then we invited, I loved that I invited like Clarice Cast, which is a percussionist that plays with us. We played together in kind of different projects. She also plays for the ayahuasca ceremony. And it, to me, is just this. And then I have this friend in Brazil who mixed it, so it's another time me having all these families all around. And so yeah, the process of the song was pretty much like that. She sent me a little bit, I hear, I envision, I called somebody else from the circle, and now we have the song, the flow of life. And that, I'm gonna say that this week I had a day that was very complicated. I was very down, and for the first time in my life, I was singing a mantra that I produce to heal myself.
Wow.
So, and usually I don't listen to my own stuff, right? I don't like listen to my own stuff. And eventually this week, that song brought me up from a moment that, that I was down. And now you just played Together We Stand, and I start crying. Brazil's going to election now. People are divided there. And so yeah, that was the process of today's. Now it's just this whole spiritual, beautiful share.
Wow. Whew, that sent chills through me, um, Wesley. Wow.
Thank you for sharing, Wesley.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
I remember the first song I sent to him that I thought it would be the one. I sent it to him, then he told me, it's nice, it's nice. It's very from the ayahuasca circle. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm listening, that's what comes out. And then I played it a couple of more times, and I told him, Wesley, I don't think this is the one. I became too emotionally attached to it. That happens too. But I said, don't worry, I'll write another one. And then I remember just sitting down, and I'm like, okay. And I called divine guidance. I was like, okay, what does this circle needs to just send something to me that it's gonna be perfect for the situation. And then the song came, and and it's still, we played it still on the circles too, but the language, it's universal. It's not attached to anything. And then Wesley did this beautiful cinematic production. It just takes you on a journey. It's a meditation to me. I just heard it with my mom before we hopped in here. she ended up crying. Like you can't, if you, like if you hear her, right, if you're open to hear music, it will take you places.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank Wesley and you guys for just being this vessel for this beautiful song to be alive now and to be able to share many hearts, I hope.
Wow. I don't know, Brenda, this is just so moving, just hearing the conversation. I don't know, do we want to play the song now, or we want to go through the announcements and just let people hold on for a moment and then play it however you want to do it? Unless anyone, and maybe someone else has a comment. I saw Reverend John joined. I don't know if Sister Bandley, someone else have a question or a comment before we segue, maybe?
I had just placed in the chat that first just hearing Caro share was it was like you're captivated in the moment of that journey, that experience, your narrative, your story. And I'm like, I need to hear this song. And I haven't heard the song. And then when Wesley shared, it's like, okay, I don't have any tissues right here. But it's just so touching and pure. Your hearts were poured out into this creation, and I'm just so thankful to hear it. And so I'm holding on for the song, okay?
Wes, I want to tell you I didn't get the email still. So if you can play it on your end, like last time, that would be great.
Yeah, you can. Can you give me the chance to share my sound or not? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Because I think when I play it from here, it just takes from my microphone and it kills 80%
Kills
of
the
the music.
vibe.
Yeah.
It kills
If you
80%
make
of
him
everything.
co-host, can you
Uh-huh.
make him co-host and he can share, I think?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So are we ready? Are we about to listen to this song right now? And then we'll close?
Yeah, you want to do any
Yeah.
announcements? Yeah, maybe doing the announcements as I pull
Do
up
the,
the song.
yeah, do the announcements, and then yes, everyone can just hold tight. Yeah.
I'm just not gonna play the entire song because I want to make sure everybody's listening to
Right.
this next Friday, you know?
Nice.
And in the announcements, you'll tell them how to get the song next Friday. So let's do the announcement, then
Pre-save.
we'll give them a little teaser. How's that?
Yes. So, if it's okay, I'll actually read some affirmations because I'm feeling it right now.
Yes,
And you're
that's right.
welcome to repeat after me if that feels good for you. You can think it, you can just experience it. I give myself permission to heal. I am willing to forgive myself. I set myself and others free through forgiveness. I allow myself to let go of my pain. I'm willing to see things differently. I release the past. I allow other perspectives to deepen my understanding and love for others. I choose to be healed. I'm open to all the ways that my body can be healed. I love taking care of myself. I tune into my body and give it what it needs to take me to an ideal state of well-being. My health and my healing matter. In my anger, I create space to heal. I know when to say no. I can be tranquil in every situation. I am healed. I am whole. I am complete. I am love. Okay.
Ashe.
Thank you. So let me read a few more announcements for everyone and we'll get to the song. The first is, of course, We are accepting any sorts of financial donations. We accept in 4 different ways: via email invoice, on Cash App, on PayPal, or simply in the mail via check or money order. You can find all of this information and more on our website, especially this slide in particular, under the Donate tab. And thank you for everyone who has already contributed. Thank you for those who contribute with their energy, with their presence, with their consistent showing up, because that really, really matters and is like really acknowledged as well. Thank you. Take a chance, take some time to listen to some of the other singles that have come out throughout the past few months. We're available on Apple Music, on Spotify, on iTunes, etc., etc. And now we have a new one coming very, very, very soon. The new one that's coming is called The Flow of Life. And we just had a wonderful conversation with the featured musician, Caro Pierotto. And you can hear this song in full on November 4th, next Friday. Our newsletter's coming out. We have some interesting contributions for this season, so feel free to take a look. It's in digital format, so it has links that will send you on a interesting journey throughout the internet. And you'll just kind of see what our team has been up to the past few months. So that is coming out very, very soon, the end of October. We also have Reverend John Gilmore is doing a series with us the first Sunday of every month. So I believe he's coming on next week, November 6th. And thank you for joining us today, Reverend John. It's nice that you're here. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And if you'd like to take a look at the first, the first episode of the series, it's on YouTube. It's really interesting, and it kind of breaks down some symbolism behind the cross, a new way to think of it. We also are going to have our Nigerian mission. This is Minister Obina, and his team will be hosting the Sunday gathering November 20th. And as always, you can find us online. We have all different social medias. We are really active on Facebook and YouTube. And you can check out our website, Triumph the Church of the New Age-international.org. You can find all this information and more. So connect with us online. I think that's it. We have our words to live by, and then Wesley will share the song. This week, our words to live by are by Lauren Miracle. If everyone started off the day singing, just think how happy they'd be. I feel that. Sing your mantras while you're going to work. Sing your mantras when you're eating your breakfast. It's great. All right, so I'll pass it to
Download and play our singles while you're, getting ready in the morning.
Beautiful. Let me share the sound. Okay. So this is the flow of life by Caro Pierotto.
I release and I let go and I surrender to the flow. I release and I let go and I surrender to the flow. the flow of life that guides us from above, shining bright inside the purest light of love. I release and I let go and I surrender to the flow. I release and I let go and I surrender to the flow. To the flow of life that guides us from above, shining bright inside the purest light of love.
Yeah,
That is so awesome.
yeah, I had to stop here because I
He
wanna
got us right there. We were almost.
Oh,
I wanna make sure everybody's
See?
gonna
oh my goodness, that is so
I,
beautiful.
I want
It's
everybody
so,
to go and Friday
oh,
and download it and listen
oh,
to it, and it just
oh my goodness.
thank you, Sandra, for letting us share our talent. I really appreciate you trusting
Yes.
us,
Mm,
letting us speak the way we can.
mm,
You know, this language here, mine is not the best one,
mm,
but thanks for letting me share what I am good at it, and with my music. Thanks for receiving it. Thanks for opening
ah,
that space to us. Brenda, enjoy your
Yes.
birthday.
oh, oh,
Yes.
I
I'm just almost
think that was
speechless.
fair.
Mm.
All
I
right.
think Bandley was saying something.
I was just saying to Wesley, he had us captured. That wasn't fair.
Hold for
Download.
1 week. Hold for 1 week.
You download, everybody. Everyone download, help support this work. If you enjoy this ministry, if you enjoy this music, if you are blessed and touched by this and you want to see and hear more of this, go to, I don't know all the outlets, but I know Spotify, Apple Music, other places. Download it, share it, put it on your playlist so we can keep this going. This is the way we can take this message of life and love and unity and peace. We can take it around the world.
Just reminding everyone that this is a ongoing thing. So
Yes.
I'm already working on the next one with another artist from the ayahuasca circle as well, from New
Mm.
York, that now he moved to Mexico. And
Wow.
so just keep with us, stay with us. That every month we will be sharing our hearts and everything that we can to put a little
Yes.
thing in this world that makes it better, right? That's a lot of beautiful things
Yes.
here, and we're gonna add more to it.
One drop in the ocean. Thank you. Thank you for being with us, Cara. Thank you so much. Love your
Thank you.
spirit,
Love
your
you too.
voice, just everything about you. Thank you so much. And
Thank
Wesley,
you.
thank you for making the introduction and drawing her to this circle. Thank you.
Mm.
True, you're always welcome to come through on Sunday if you feel like it.
Yes.
All
We have
right.
a
Thank
different
you.
conversation every week. So
That's
a
lovely.
lot of times I've found whatever the day that you choose to tune in is like, oh, I really needed to talk about that, or that was a topic that's
Oh, I'm
really
sure of
relevant.
it. Yes.
And I was like, oh, it happens to me a lot, and I'm here every single week, and I'm like, oh,
Mm.
I'm just saying. So you're always welcome to come through.
Thank you.
I will share our closing prayer and we'll say goodbye.
Sounds good.
So I invite you to take a nice deep breath and let us pray. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end war, for we know that you have made the world in a way that people must find their own path to peace within themselves and with their neighbors. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end starvation, for you have already given us the resources with which to feed the entire world if we would only use them wisely. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to root out prejudice, for you have already given us eyes with which to see the good in all people if we would only use them rightly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end despair, for you have already given us the power to clear away slums and to give hope if we would only use our power justly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end disease, for you have already given us great minds with which to search out cures and healing if we would only use them constructively. Therefore, we pray to you instead, O God, for strength, determination, and willpower to do instead of just pray, to become instead of merely to wish.
Ashe and amen. Happy birthday, Brenda. Enjoy your day.
Happy
Thanks.
birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you for being you
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank
Happy
and
birthday.
sharing.
Enjoy it.
Thank you also. Very nice to meet you. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
you. Peace.